So this is the first episode of HF United podcast called Raising Champions, but it's also a part of Parent University. We take our youth and our families very seriously, and this has been a long time coming. So I want to introduce myself. My name is, I'm going to be Coach Mikhail on here. I'm also on the board for HF United, working with the other two people we have on here. You can introduce yourself.
Good morning. I'm Jessica Covington. I'm the Director of Mentorship on the board for HF United. I'm so excited to be here, and I can't wait to get into this episode.
Good morning. I'm Erin Gordon, and I am the current treasurer for HF United. Super excited to be here. Been on the board for the past 6 years, so glad to see this come to fruition.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm glad we're here. I remember we started with 16 people. We had 16 kids. Only 16. How many kids do we have now?
We have over 225 athletes now.
Woo, wow. 225. You should pat yourself on the back, Erin. Pat yourself on the back. But we also have the new mentorship director, Jessica, who is putting some really good things together. So we're going to get right into it so we can raise these champions. So the name of our tenets is D.I.S.C.S.S. So in our mentoring program, those are the tenets that we go by. We go by discipline, integrity, scholarship, community, service, and what's the other S? Discipline, integrity, community, scholarship, service, and sportsmanship, right?
Right.
So today we really want to get on here and just talk about discipline first. So even though we have all these tenets, what wisdom do you guys have for parents and athletes as well about what discipline is? Like, what is discipline and how has it helped you in your life to be successful in whatever you're doing? What's the importance of discipline?
So when we think about discipline with our United athletes, we want to make sure that they stay ready, they're focused, and they're ready to go. They're prepared when they get on the field to be coachable, to be understanding of what is being taught to them, and that they're ready to be all game. So when we think about discipline is about being prepared as well. We want them to be prepared with all their equipment, all their things in order, so that they're ready to go and they're ready to bring the game to the cheer mat or to the football field. So that's what when we think about discipline, what we're thinking about.
Okay.
Got it.
What about you, Miss Gordon?
I think I'm going to go from the parent perspective. Discipline is really being able to have your emotions in check. You know, when our athletes are out there and those are our babies, right? We get very passionate in games and at competitions, but discipline is really controlling our emotions, making sure we are upholding the culture of this organization and putting our best foot forward for our athletes. So even if our athletes may not be having a great game or they made a mistake in the competition, we are constantly encouraging them and we are putting our best foot forward as our parents of the organization.
Yep. We want them to represent United well.
Yeah, I looked up a quote. It's a quote by Jim Rohn. He said, you either endure the pain of discipline or you endure the pain of regret. And I just thought that was really good because when it comes to discipline, discipline allows us to set up boundaries in our lives so that we can actually have success. And for me, discipline is being able to make yourself do things that you do not feel like doing. I mean, I'm telling you guys, my daughter comes home complaining about cheer every day, but it's because they're emphasizing discipline and running and doing things like they're supposed to do. So I believe that discipline is going to help our athletes not just build character, but also help them become champions. I was listening to an interview by Nick Saban at a leadership summit, and he said he never set the goal for his team to win the championship. He only set a goal for them to be champions. So every day they do the same thing consistently like it's supposed to be done. And that type of discipline is how they won 7 national championships. So how has discipline helped you in your life? Like, how has it helped you get to where you've gotten to? And what type of habits did it help you develop to get there that may be useful for parents as well as you?
I think from a parent standpoint, growing up, my mom, every Saturday we had to clean up, right? And so those type of traditions helped me as an adult be prepared. When I went to college, I kept my room clean. I was ready to go to class. There was always just a standard and a way to be with my family. And so it helped me to kind of be prepared as an adult. And some of those things I don't do as much with my own kids, but some of the things that I keep, like keeping your room clean, being prepared, saying yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, has really helped transition into parenthood for me and holding my kids accountable to being disciplined and being prepared. They know what to expect. When you're disciplined, you know what to expect. And it has a level of accountability. Some of the things I didn't understand as a child growing up, but I appreciate now as an adult. Every morning we had prayer. So I knew what to expect. That was discipline. And so now as an adult, I still hold some of those traditions as values. So I think discipline does help hold accountability. It helps you to become the person that you desire to be. It is the foundation to our mentorship program, but it is one of the most important ones. I think that we stand as people on discipline. Lack of discipline can really impact who you are and how you show up as an adult or as an athlete, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to be seen as undisciplined. And so our goal is to help parents help their athletes become disciplined, a part of the DISC pillars.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I echo everything you said, Jessica, so I don't know that I can add much more.
Yeah, I think the thing for me as a parent is like I tried to mirror my parents. I don't know how they did it so successfully and it seems seamless. But you try to make sure that you instill some of those same values in your kids because you can see that it pays off over time. It's just sometimes hard to see it when they're like in their teen years because stages of development require them to be, I have attitude this day. I don't feel like doing it this day. Oh, I don't want to go to cheer but those are things that as parents that we have to recognize we're all going through the same thing right now because it's just the stages of development. My mom was just telling me this morning, like I was telling her something about my oldest son. She's like, "You don't remember doing that?" I was like, "No," but we all do it, right? It's the stages of development. It's how it's about growth. And we're all in this journey of parenthood together. And I'm really excited about Parent University so that we can start to share some of those things and tips and tricks to help us all get through because it does really take a village. And
Yes,
that's
and
the beauty
especially to
of
parents.
United. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's the beauty of United. When my kids became a part of the Kings years ago and now United, it has always been that a village. Like if I was having a problem, like, hey, could you talk to this child or this person? And it's just always been a village. So that is the goal of Parent University.
Yes, and it's this competition between what you want now and what you want most parents. I like it's kind of like as a parent, I have learned to be more disciplined since I've had children. I wake up at the same day, I exercise at the same time, I do the same things. Like I'm a very
Yeah.
regimented person. But as I can see, but it's the same way when we take kids to practice. Like we want to teach our kids how to be on time. We got to get them there on time. We got to
Right.
teach them how to prepare their bags. We have to teach them how to develop the habits so they can succeed. Because now, like a lot of us on here, some of our kids are in high school or even about to finish high school. And this type of discipline, when they've gone to high school, I don't wake my boys up in the morning. I don't have to do that now because I had them regimented. And I'm not saying every once in a while I don't have to help them out, but we have to be models in the household about what discipline is. So I
And
can't teach them discipline and I don't have discipline. And I think as parents, we have to find parts of our lives where we may lack discipline and we need to get those things in order actually because our kids are watching us. And a lot of things I have in my life or I don't have is a product of my discipline.
Yeah.
No matter what that
and
may
I would
be.
even say proper planning and
Yeah.
preparation, right? Goes into
Yes.
discipline.
Yes.
Jessica kind of mentioned it, but like if you know you have a long day the next day, and your parent is going to get off work at the last minute, prepare your stuff for practice the night before, right? Because you're
Yeah.
going to come to school, you're going to come home, you're going to do your homework, and then you're going to have your stuff already ready. So when mom or dad or grandma or whomever is bringing you to practice, you're not looking for something at the last minute and now
Right.
you're late for practice. And when practice starts at 6:30, that means you're fully prepared in whatever you're wearing and you're starting warm up. So I think it goes into, preparation and planning too.
And I think that you touch on great points. Like when you do miss the bar, when you do have an emotional breakdown, when you're not prepared, or when you are running late, teaching our athletes how to communicate effectively, how to have those conversations like, I'm sorry I was late, or sending a text to the coach and saying, hey, I'm going to be 10 minutes late. Actually, I forgot something. And just teaching our athletes to communicate effectively when they do miss the bar. When you have a meltdown, how do you teach your athlete at home, like, hey, I saw what happened on the sideline. Let's talk about it. And now let's talk about what you need to communicate with your coach moving forward. Having those conversations to help prepare them, I think, are really, really important, because that teaches them to be advocates for themselves. And that is a different level of discipline as well. That we got to remember as parents, because we can hold the hand as much as possible, because we all do it, right? To me, that's a part of parenting and guiding, but we want to make sure that we're giving them those skills moving forward, that when we're not there, they can communicate. And as my mama used to say, speak up for themselves.
Yes, because they have to be able to advocate for themselves. And when they,
Yeah.
and this is hard for parents because it was hard for me. If they mess up, let them get the full consequence
Yeah.
of the mess up. So, for instance, if my son, if my son Seth is late for practice because of something that he did, I'm not talking to the coach for him.
Right.
He was the one that was late. He needs to go talk to the coach about why he was late. I remember for track, he did something wrong, and I had him talk to his coach on his own about his behavior and why he was late. And that conversation really changed him. It was extremely hard. He was crying and everything, but he had to know how it
Yeah.
felt as a young man when his discipline messed it up for him, that I wasn't willing to get him out of it. I let him feel the full consequence, have the full conversation, so he can have the full experience and make the full correction. So in the future, he could self-correct without me having to advocate. So that was a good point, Jessica, because a lot of times when we feel the heat
Yeah.
coming down on our kids, sometimes it's like, oh my God, I want to protect them a little bit. But you know
Yeah.
what? Sometimes they have to sit in that consequence and advocate for themselves, because that is what discipline is. Actually, discipline means to bend. And that's actually what it means in one of these other languages I want to get into. But it does mean to bend, meaning that these experiences and these boundaries make it so that it shapes them, because they're saying we're raising champions. It starts to shape them
Yeah.
into what they're supposed to be. And they have to be able to advocate for themselves. We can't always speak for them.
And I think letting parents know that it's okay when you see something happening, either at cheer practice or on the football field, it's okay. Like I remember as a parent, I used to, oh, I'm so embarrassed. Let it happen, because that is the benefit of having programs like United, right? Where we know it takes a village. Like let the correction happen, let the situation happen. Every single coach has been through a background check. Every single coach has your athlete's
Yeah.
best interest at heart, assume positive intent. If you just let it happen and let them get the full consequence or the full talking to or the full whatever from maybe missing the mark, it will create the character. Don't be embarrassed. All athletes go through it, right? No athlete is perfect. And that's something that I struggled with when my oldest, was going through the program. And I was like, I never wanted to be embarrassed. I never want him to do anything wrong. But you miss the opportunity for him to grow, your athlete to grow, whether it be a cheerleader or a football player, if you're always trying to keep from being embarrassed. You got to be open, knowing like this is what the program is for. This is what we're training our coaches to be prepared for. This is what our organization is here for. Let it happen naturally so that they can grow. Don't stifle them by holding back and trying to protect it and try to protect face. Let it happen naturally. And we got your back, parents. We got your back. So just know that.
So I got a question for you, Aaron,
Yes.
Miss Gordon. I got a question for you. So what happens or how should we handle it as an organization, or what advice would we give to parents when a parent loses their discipline? So let's say the parent loses their cool, the parent cusses out the coaches, the parent is going off on people, and they're having difficulty holding their kid accountable because they do want to rescue them all the time. Because we've had this stuff happen, you guys, countless amount of time.
Yep.
What advice do we have for parents about how we can manage ourselves better? I'm lumping myself into that category because I'm a parent of athletes too. What advice would you give to them, not just about the dangers of that, but also what they can do to prevent that?
Right. Let me kind of go into the dangers of that. If we, as parents, lose our discipline, we go towards our coaches, we go towards the refs, all that thing. We are, one, putting the organization at risk of having a negative culture, and that really puts us not being able to do a lot of partnerships or anything in the future because we get a bad reputation, and that will then trickle down to your athlete. So we don't want that to happen. Even with refs, if you make the refs mad, you think you may feel like they made a bad call, they're going to make even more against us. Okay, when it comes to refs, you don't want to come at your coaches. These coaches are putting time and effort and sometimes money into your athlete. And so if you really think that they're going to continue, like, they're human as well. They want to feel appreciated, and knowing that they're trying their best to make sure your athlete is developed, whether that's on the cheer mat or on the field, football field. But if they're constantly getting parents who are losing their discipline against them, we can potentially lose great coaches. And we don't want to do that because that affects our organization. But as a parent, we're very passionate. These are our babies out there, right? When we lose our discipline, a couple of things. When you start feeling that feeling of like, oh, I am getting there, maybe you need to walk away. I mean, honestly, sometimes it just takes a moment to walk away. We have a lot of parents that are in, you have your person, right, in the organization. I also challenge their people. If you see your person you're with and sitting by at a game is about to go there, get them together. We are a village. We should be holding each other accountable. Because if it gets to the point of escalation where somebody on the board has to get involved, now we're talking about consequences that the parents will have to deal with, which is maybe you can't come to a game anymore if it's an egregious offense, or maybe it's you have to be dismissed for that game only because it's a certain offense and things of that nature. And we don't want to do that as United. We want our parents to be there to support our athletes. We want our stands filled with family members, etc. But we also need to make sure that us as parents, we are not losing our discipline, because guess what? Your athletes hear and see everything you do.
Yeah.
And so if you are losing your discipline, how do you think your athlete is going to stay disciplined? And they still have to finish a game. They still have to finish a competition, etc. And we kind of talked about parents don't want to be embarrassed. Athletes don't want to be embarrassed. So if their parent is
At all.
losing discipline,
Yeah.
now they're looking like, oh my gosh, what did my mom, my grandma, my grandpa, my uncle do? Right? We don't want to do that to our athletes, because how are they going to want to come back to practice and hear things, from their teammates, etc. So I think the biggest thing is like really trying to hold our village accountable. And then sometimes you just have to walk away and do a cool down period. I mean, the calmest people can always lose their discipline. So we're not saying we're expecting everybody to be perfect, but it's how you come back from losing that discipline.
Yes. And I think there's degrees of losing discipline now.
Yeah.
Okay. We all lose discipline sometime. I just want us to know that even as a parent and what I do for a living, that we are models for kids. They don't always do what we say. They will do what you do, though. So we have to watch it with our discipline. We do have to watch, because I am the parent who, I'm not a person who curses a lot anyway. I'm not a cusser anyway. I used to be, but I'm not a cusser now. Okay. So if we hear a parent shouting expletives from the stands, or you shouting expletives to your kid because they didn't do something right, that's just not That's just not good behavior. And it's also not a good behavior for a coach. So we have to model the behavior we want to see. Like as parents, we have to know what boundaries are. And Aaron
Mhm.
talked about we have the 24-hour cooling period, and we have that because we want you to be heard. We want you to be able to express yourself, and it allows everybody to maintain their discipline. The coach, the organization, as well as the parent. So we have that 24-hour cooling period because it has to do with discipline. And we just need to make sure as parents, like they've already said, we don't have to be perfect. But if our lives are sloppy, then our discipline is going to be sloppy in other areas. And as an organization, we have to make sure that we encourage our youth to be disciplined, but that we also encourage our parents to be disciplined because it's hard to teach order to a person that may live in disorder. I think you guys know what I'm talking about
Yeah.
as parents. I mean, everything needs to be in order so that our kids can be in order. Some kids don't get on the field because they don't have discipline. They don't listen. They don't study the playbook. And the same thing. Some parents lack discipline because they don't understand the rules, how many practices they need to come to get on the field. That if they don't have a mouthpiece, they can't get in the game. So this stuff bleeds over into everything. And I hope with Parent University, we can help each other grow as parents. Not just help the kids grow, but also help each other grow. So if we can get one final comment from our distinguished panel today, if we can get one comment, what would be your final thought about discipline that you would want to leave a parent and a child with?
I think helping your athlete learn the habits that they need. So being prepared, like Miss Gordon spoke about, having your bag ready, getting to practice on time, knowing what your schedule is, helping them be prepared because our common language is staying ready, staying focused. I'm ready to go, being prepared. Also, helping your athletes when there is an issue or something doesn't go well, you're late to practice or you have a meltdown, communicate effectively, coaching them through how to have those conversations with their coaches, right? Giving them the words that they need to express themselves when something happens because being an athlete or not, if you're late, you should respectfully say, hey, I'm running 10 minutes late to the doctor's office, to the hair salons, to the nail salons, wherever you're going. If you're late, you should be able to do that. So teaching them that early, how to communicate effectively when things happen or breakdown happens in discipline, I think are some of the most key tips for parents when we think about helping their athletes be disciplined.
I guess my final kind of statement would be wins don't just happen on game day or competition day. They're
Ooh,
earned in
okay.
small, disciplined moments
Yeah.
throughout the week. And when each
Absolutely.
of us is disciplined, our whole team gets better, our community gets stronger, and we become not only better athletes, but better people.
Ooh,
Absolutely.
man. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. My final thing would be for discipline is consistency is boring. It's hard to do the same thing at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I need to wake up at the same time. My kids need to wake up at the same time. They need to go to bed at night. They need to go to bed at the same time. They need to wake up at the same time. If you can, they need to eat dinner at the same time. Meaning that like consistency is boring, but discipline is the bridge from where you are to where you want to be. Without it, you get nowhere. So I would say pay attention to those little things, like she just said. It's those little things that you do every day that
Yeah.
lead to big things, right? So little by little, little by little, little by little, right? To be disciplined, because that discipline, that basic discipline of basic things, and I think Jessica talked about it, chores, hygiene,
Mm-hmm.
studying, all of those things right here will build champions with character. Because if
Yep.
they're winning on the field, but they're not winning off the field, then we're not building champions and we're not building kids with character. So that will conclude the part for discipline. I'm sure we can talk about it forever and ever and ever. But we thank you for you guys watching.